welcome to the Salt Lake Southern Railroad. My name is Gary Petersen, and where I'm going to give you a little tour of our railroad today. And first off, I should say you'll see a lot of CNW power on this railroad. And the CNW actually built from Chicago all the way to Lander, Wyoming. Lander is about 225 miles from Salt Lake. So they didn't reach the Salt Lake Valley, but they had planned on doing that. And but they were pretty well told just to avoid going any farther west, or our interchange that we're dealing with another railroad in Omaha will no longer be in existence. So anyway, I do have Lander on the railroad, and to make it interesting, like I said, they wanted to build west, but they were restricted to do that. So we said at Lander there is a pass called South Pass. There was never a railroad built over it, but it was a wagon train route. We built the railroad from Lander west to Ogden over South Pass. What's interesting about South Pass is when the CNW built their railroad from Chicago to Lander, they never had a grade that exceeded 1%, which is pretty good because they went through a lot of hilly country, but they always managed to find a water level route. We said in 1983, I think the Western Pacific was merged into the Union Pacific. So we said, well, why don't we make the Western Pacific our Western connection and just ignore the fact that they were merged into the UP. So that's what they did, and also their grade from the Bay Area to Salt Lake City never exceeded 1%. So here we have two ends of the railroad that are almost flat, but the Salt Lake Southern has to go over South Pass, and that has a 2.75% grade on the east side and a 2.85% on the west side. So therefore, we're going to use a lot of helpers. Just about everything has helpers put on it to get over the pass. And then from then on, the helpers are cut off and the train goes on its own without any effort. This is trains that you see here are trains coming from Ogden and points west, Nevada, and Southern California. And they're coming onto the railroad. This is just staging. And we go out eastbound. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, but that's eastbound. And we'll go around there and pick up the train and go from there. Our train just came out of our Ogden staging, and then this is where it comes onto the model portion of the Salt Lake Southern. And this is a crew change point right here where you can see the red vans here. And so this train will come on in and stop, crews will board, and then you'll also call into the dispatcher at that time and let them know you're on board and ready to proceed eastbound. This train now that left Bear River is now arriving in Sage, Utah, and we'll come through town here, and at the other side of town we will add the helpers to get over the South Pass. The signals, by the way, they look a little weird. It's because you're looking at the back side. From an operator standpoint, you have to be able to read those things, so I didn't paint the back side of the LEDs, I just let them show up. The signals themselves are silver on the back side, and the front side they're black. The train's coming into Sandy Creek here, and we're going to add our helpers to go over the pass. You'll see the Sage Depot here on the left, and our helper pocket is on the right. We're going to pull in there and add them to the rear, and it's a simple matter with NCE, and we'll do that when we get there. Now that we've added our helpers to this coal train, we're ready to proceed up the pass. All we're waiting for is the signal to come to us, and we'll be on our way. We're nearing the summit. The Santa Fe is a kind of a unique engine on this thing because in 1995, the year that I'm modeling, the CNW was really power short, and they leased about 2 dozen of these C30-7s from the Santa Fe Railroad, and so it's common to see them in 1995 in CNW consist. We just crested South Pass with our coal train, and we're going to have a meet at South Pass with a tank train. And this line was an addition because the old line went down through Atlantic City, and it was too hilly, so they had to build this new line out and around Atlantic City, but it kept it basically flat up here. So we're on top of the grade on a flat plateau, and we'll run this for several miles. The train is coming down grade here, and I had to either build an enclosed helix, which I really do not like because the trains are hidden too long from view. So I built this thing, and I call it an exposed helix. And really what it's supposed to be is when you come out of Lander, Wyoming, and this is in real life, you go in this canyon, and it's a box canyon. I'm supposing when the trains get into the back of the box, they go around the box once, come across the valley floor, and then make their final loop to get out of the box canyon. Amtrak is pulling into the station here at Hudson. He'll have a stop here, a scheduled stop. And while it's in the station, the dispatcher is planning on having the coal train that we've been following meet the Amtrak train here at Hudson. This is double track main through here, and it's signaled for both directions of travel, so there shouldn't be any trouble for a dispatcher who's on his toes, and he can get this done without any problem. Amtrak has completed its station stop here at Hudson. Now we're going to proceed over the main line, what we just photographed with the coal train. However, we're going to do something slightly different. We will climb the grade on the main line, but at Lake Point we drop off the main line and go down the Atlantic City branch. We have a scheduled station stop at Atlantic City. Amtrak has completed its scheduled stop at Atlantic City and now is to proceed westbound up a 3% grade through the tunnel block, and it rejoins the main line about a mile down the line from here. Okay, our coal train that we've been following all day is now ready to come into Riverton Yard. We normally cut these helpers off out at Hudson, but they need to be cut off here because they're low on fuel, so they're going to head to the fuel island and They'll be fueled up, and in the meantime, our train will leave Riverton without any helpers and proceed on eastbound.